Hello everyone and welcome to the final video for today. I've done 4 uploads today now. It's currently 1 AM in my time, so I've been definitely on the grind today, even with all the problems with having no internet at my house. But finally, we're going to take a look at Karma. Now, Karma has a lot of big differences from PC League of Legends over to Wild Rift. She has new abilities, new passives, and everything as well. But before that, we're going to take a quick look at the build. I got 2 different builds to show you. You got mid Karma or AP duo lane Karma, and then we have the support Karma build. So for AP Karma, if you want to go full damage, this is kind of a standard build now. Most people know this. Luden's Echo, just a great first item that gives you a lot of ability haste, maximum mana, and AP early on. And then you get the Distorted Echo passive as well, which allows your ability, to deal extra damage and also to bounce up to nearby allies. You got Death Cap as well for the extra ability power and also increasing your overall ability power by 40%. For the boots, you want to go for Ionian Stasis for the extra ability haste. Karma works really, really well with a lot of ability haste, so all of her abilities go on lower cooldown, so you can use this to help with the passive and to enhance your other abilities. And then you have Stasis as well, because most of the time you've got a lot of movement speed with Karma's third ability. You don't really need anything, so the only thing you're kind of worried about with Karma is the Assassins, which Stasis will help you out a lot with. Void Star for the ability power and magic penetration, because at this point of the game you'll probably be seeing enemies building a lot of magic resist. You got Morellonomicon for more magic penetration, more AP and more maximum health. You also have the Grievous Wounds passive as well. This is really good because Karma's first ability especially can hit onto multiple enemies, so you can inflict grievous wounds to multiple enemies. And then you have Infinity Orb as the final item. You can go for a defensive item if you want to at the end, but Infinity Orb just allows your abilities to create, and it gives you a little bit more movement speed as well. For the runes, Electrocute's quite good for Karma. You can walk up, you can auto attack, use your first ability, and use your second ability as well to snare the enemies. Most of the time, I'll explain this a little bit later, but you want to use your third ability, then your second ability, and then your first ability. But make sure you use your first ability after you've landed the snare, after the snare has finished. Kind of basically guarantees your first ability is always going to hit, which is your main damage source. As an AP mage, Gathering Storm is really, really good because the extra AP you get throughout the game is just a lot more than AD champions. And also, most of the time in the early game, you're not going to be that strong. You're going to try and get to Luna's Echo and Death Cap as soon as possible. Once you get the 2 items, and once you get Gathering Storm, the extra AP as well, you will be really, really strong. You can go for a little bit of extra early game damage if you want to, like Brutal, but I wouldn't really recommend it, to be honest. And to be honest, there's not really anything else that you can go for. So Gathering Storm is your best bet. Again, the second rune, the Resolve tree, completely depends on matchup. Hunter Titan's really good to get the tenacity. Adaptive Carapace for laning phase if you really need it. Second Wind against a lot of poke, or Bone Plating against a lot of combo damage. Again, it's very, very flexible. And then the last one, 100% get Hunter Genius. Again, as I mentioned, a lot of ability haste for Karma will come in handy, and I'll explain that a little bit later on with the abilities. And then for the spells, we got Flash and we have Barrier. You can go for maybe Exhaust as well. Exhaust might be pretty good, to be fair. Other than that, there's not really anything else, to be honest, that you can go for. You're not really going to get into Ignite range a lot. You might be able to a little bit, and you can maybe use this to play aggressive if you want to use your third ability and your second ability to run to the enemies and to land that snare. But most of the time, as I mentioned, most of the time you will be you'll be completely fine just by going with Barrier. Let's jump into the game and see. Oh, I completely forgot to mention the support build. Let's head back and quickly look at the support build. Sorry, this is going to be unedited, so it might be a little bit dodgy, but you can skip forward a little bit. I completely forgot to show the support build. But I will not forget the support build. Actually, I can probably explain it in-game, actually. I can quickly explain it in-game, and we can have a look at that if I can actually do it. I'm not too sure if I can, actually, thinking about it. I can probably change the build, but I won't be able to show the runes. Let's just quickly back out. We'll quickly back out, and then I'll quickly show you the other build. Won't take too long. Yeah, with Karma, I think she will mainly be a mid lane carry. She can be played as a support as well. This is the support build. Again, pretty standard support build. Staff of Flowing Water, just a really great item. You have a lot of shields as well, especially with your third ability, and the empowered third ability can spread across multiple allies. So all your healing and shielding will be really, really helpful. For Staff of Flowing Water, you have Ardent Sensor for the extra attack speed from your healing and shielding. I think Redemption is probably the best option. You can go for, I think Spooky Ghost is going to be really, really good. I call it Spooky Ghost because that's kind of the only name that I really know it by. Shadows, that's the one. Shadows can be really good because you can slow the movement speed of the enemies, which means you can walk up and use your snare on top of that. And like I said, it's all about kind of guaranteeing that you're always going to hit your snare, so you can use your other abilities on top of that, and you should be able to deal a lot of damage. So you can go for the Shadows as well if you want to. Harmonic Echo, again, to do with the healing and shielding. And like I said, all of these items give you ability haste, give you maximum mana, give you a little bit of health, give you ability power, so it's really, really nice. So you got Athene's Unholy Grail as well, allowing you to, consume blood, and then you can use that to, heal your allies even more. And then you have Death Cap as the final item. Now the runes are a little bit different. Air is more for poking in the laning phase. Electrocute, you're probably not going to be able to proc as much as what you want to, and Airy will help your shielding as well at the same time. So again, it's a more defensive build, and it's a more support build, so going for Airy is probably the better option. And the same with weakness as well. You're not going to be dealing a lot of damage, so Gathering Storm is not really the best option because you're not a main damage threat. Your main purpose as a support Karma is going to be healing, shielding, and just helping your allies out. And then weakness will help you with that, because if you impale the movement, so if you slow an enemy or anything like that, especially with your second ability with the snare, you can deal more damage, and your allies can deal more damage on top of that. Again, Hunter Titan is pretty good rune overall, and then Hunter Genius for the extra ability haste. And then you have Flash and Heal. Now Heal got changed in this patch. Your heal is now going to be a lot more impactful when you heal a wounded ally, because a wounded ally will get healed more than yourself. So heal is basically turned into a support summoner spell now, and I think it will work really, really well with Karma. Now let's head into practice, and now let's take a look at new passive, new ultimates. We can take a look at the other abilities as well. Again, this is very, very different to what the League of Legends PC version is, but most of it kind of is the same, to be fair. But we're going to be diving into this very, very shortly. As mentioned, this is going to be quite long now because I have to go in and then go back out again. But it shouldn't be a problem. Hopefully you guys don't mind talking a little bit. I'm quite excited for these new champions, to be fair. I think Karma's going to be quite good. I think I might try her as an APC in the duo lane. As I mentioned with my other video, I'm going to be doing more guides on the champions, more gameplay as well from my streams. So if you do want to check out my streams, the link will be in the description. I'll probably be streaming pretty much the whole of tomorrow. So you can definitely give that a watch if you want to. Let's go over to the lane, and we will quickly put some target dummies down to help out a little bit with that. There you go. And then we can put an ally down. We've got put a couple of allies ones down as well, because there'll be some abilities that will help with allies. Awesome stuff. Right, let's take a look at the passive, which is a new passive for Karma. This is the old ultimate for Karma in PC League of Legends. Well, it is the PC League of Legends ultimate at the moment, but now it's every spell cast. I don't know why I'm leaving a gap between spell and cast. Every spell casted grants Karma a stack of mantra. At 3 stacks, she enters mantra state, enhancing her next ability. So all of her abilities are going to be enhanced. You can see with all the abilities, she has a mantra version. So that's basically it. You can see underneath the mana bar, that is your mantra stack. So if I use my second ability, I can use my first ability, my third ability, and then you can see afterwards is my mantra. So that means that my next ability will be enhanced. So always keeping a track of that is really, really important. I think most of the time you want to use your first ability because it's going to deal the most damage. But again, we'll talk about all the abilities and how they will help you out. Speaking of that first ability, let's talk about Inner Flame, which fires a blast of energy, dealing magic damage to the first target hit and surrounding enemies and slowing them just for a little bit for under 2 seconds. The Mantra version increases the destruction power of the blast, dealing more magic damage to the first target hit and surrounding enemies. The blast leaves behind a little field as well on the floor, slowing enemies by 50% after which explodes and deals magic damage. So the first ability you saw there, you can see it has quite a lot of range, to be fair. You can see how far away you can use this, and this is going to be your main poking tool in the laning phase as a support, as a dual lane carry, or even as a mid laner. And then the Mantra version, so the enhanced version, you can see when you use it, it leaves a little pile on the floor as well, which will slow enemies, and as you can see, after a little bit, that will then poke up again. So again, you can use this for if you want to wave clear, if you just want to poke a little bit more as well. Again, this will be the Mantra version, so you can see a little bit of AoE damage on the floor, and then it will burst up, so it will slow enemies, so it will be hard for them to escape that as well at the same time. So quite good. Second ability, a focused resolve. Tethers up to 2 nearby champions, dealing magic damage and revealing them for just under 2 seconds. If targets fail to break the tether, then they take more magic damage and are rooted for just under 2 seconds. Then you have the Mantra version as well. The new tether will be formed between tethered targets, and if there is only one tethered target, the new tether will spread towards additional nearby champions. It's a lot to take in. If targets fail to break all the tethers, and they take magic damage and they're rooted for a longer amount of time. So you can see with the second ability, you can see that they're basically 2 little I guess you can call it lines that you can use to tether. Now in PC League of Legends, this is only 1 champion, but in Wild Rift, it's 2 champions. But you have to make sure you're in range. You can see the little circle, little vague circle around Karma. That shows your range of your second ability. So you can see here, I'm only targeting 1, and I'm only going to use it on 1 champion. But then if I walk over to another target dummy or close to another target dummy, then I'll do 2. And if you walk away from all of them, you can see that the circle around is gone and you can't use your second ability at all. So you have to make sure you're nearby to make sure you can use it. And then when you walk up, the second ability lights up, and that means that you can use it. And then the ultimate version, or the Mantra version, I keep calling it the ultimate version because it is the ultimate version in Wild Rift, in PC League. The ultimate version, as you can see, there is a third line that goes in between both target dummies, or in between both allies, which means that you can use this to basically root for longer, deal more magic damage as well. So making sure that you're always on top of the enemy when you're using the second ability is really important. That's why I said most of the time use third ability onto second ability, so you can get the extra movement speed from the third ability, which I will explain now. So the third ability is Inspire, which grants an allied champion a shield for a few seconds and bonus movement speed as well. The Mantra version of Karma focuses her power, granting an even bigger shield that decays over a few seconds, movement speed that decays as well over a few seconds. An additional ring is generated around the shielded target, and the first allied champion who enters the ring will be granted the same shield. So you can use the third ability on yourself if you want to, as you just seen. You can use it, you gain movement speed, and as mentioned, this is really good for using your second ability, because you can use your second ability and then use your third ability straight afterwards, which means you'll get the movement speed. So even if they're trying to run away, you'll probably be able to catch up with them really, really easily. And then the Mantra version is basically like a big AoE shield that you can use across pretty much your entire team, but it only will shield 2 allies as it mentions. As you can see here, I'm going to use the ability. The Mantra version, I did use a Mantra version, but for some reason it didn't work. We'll try that again. Mantra version, and there you go. So it will only shield 2 allies. In PC League of Legends, it can shield the whole team, but in Wild Rift, it's only 2 allies. And it will work if they're moving as well. So say, for example, you shield a Renekton in the backline, the Mantra version, and if they walk across an Olaf who's on your team, then that Olaf will also get the shield, especially if it's within the time duration. So again, just a lot of movement speed, a lot of shielding, which will help support Karma quite a lot. Then we have the ultimate, which is completely brand new for Karma, which is Transcendence Embrace. Immediately enters Mantra state, which is quite important as well, which means you can use your other abilities or the other empowered abilities straight afterwards. It forms a ring of spirit energy at a target location and then after 1 second it detonates, dealing magic damage to all enemies inside the circle and slow them by 50%. And if enemies are on the outer ring, they'll be knocked back towards the center. So when you're playing against Karma, when you see this ultimate, most of the time you want to stay in the center, even though you want to try and run away. If you have Protobelt, if you have Flash, you can probably use this. But as you can see, it's pretty big. When you use the ultimate, it will pull all the target dummies in the center, as you can see. So most of the time when you're aiming Karma's ultimate, you want to try and land it on the outer ring, but kind of predict where the enemies want to move, because if you use it on the inner ring, it won't really do too much. It will just deal a little bit of damage, but the outer ring will push them towards the middle. And as it mentions, you're going to be entered straight into mantra state. So you can use this in combination with your first ability. So you'll be dealing double the slows, plus you've got the second ability as well on top of that, which is going to be really, really important. So I think this is going to be the main combo, is use your ultimate and then use your first ability to slow as well. That means it's going to be harder for them to exit the ultimate, or to exit the outer ring of the ultimate. So you do ultimate, first ability to slow as well, because you've got the one in the middle, and then you can use your third ability and your second ability on top of that as well if you want to. This will help your second ability as well, the ultimate. So you can use your ultimate, it will pull them into the center, which means then you can use your second ability afterwards if you want to. Overall, it's just a great new ultimate for Karma that I think will open up so many things for her, and I think will make her more of an AP champion than a support champion. In terms of leveling order, let me quickly run you through all of that. With the leveling order for Karma, what you want to do is at level 1, you want to just go for your first ability. As mentioned, this is going to be your main poking tool, and you can use this to farm up minions at range if you need to as well. Then you want to go for your third ability to get the shield. If you want to play aggressive, you can go for the second ability, but it is very, very risky. I wouldn't really recommend it, but you can go for your second ability at level 2 if you want to. And then you're going to go for your second ability once you have level 3. And then you want to make sure you level up your first ability first, because this is your main damage tool. You want this up as much as possible, and you want to deal as much damage as possible. And then after this, you want to go for your third ability just for the extra shielding and for the less cooldown, and then you want to go for your second ability. Now for support Karma, as I accidentally clicked Zonya's, for support Karma, you can go for your third ability if you want to. I'm taking a look at the shield itself. So the shield goes from 60 up to 180 if you max it, which is quite a lot, and the cooldown goes down by a second. Whereas the first ability, you got the base damage, which goes up to 210, which is higher than the shield, so you'll be able to do more damage. And the enhanced damage as well is also more. So I think even support Karma, most of the time you're going to be maxing your first ability. You can max your third ability and give it a test. Let me know if you do that. But I do think that even support Karma will be maxing the first ability, because look at that, the cooldown goes from 7.2 down to 5.1, so it's a pretty big cooldown reduction, like 2 seconds. It's quite a lot, especially with all the ability haste you're going to be building with Karma as well. So it's going to be quite nice. And that's pretty much everything with Karma. I've run through everything. I've run through a few combos, the abilities and everything as well. So hopefully you all enjoyed this. I will be streaming tomorrow, as mentioned. The link will be down below if you want to check out my stream. I'm going to go get some rest. It's been a very long day. Internet's cut out. There's a whole big problem with it, which hopefully will get sorted before the weekend. But I'm in like a temporary setup at the moment. So yeah, I'm going to get some rest. I'll see you all tomorrow nice and early, and we'll be ready for content grind for patch 3.1. I've got a lot of things to test and a lot of things to do. So I'm excited for it, and hopefully you are as well. I'll see you there. Goodbye.